But just, FYI. So, good job. Shh. Security trolling since DerbyCon 1. Yeah, do that. So now you can tell how little there are people. Before it looked like it was all full, and now it's like, oh yeah, there's like hardly anybody here about that. It's like it's all good. Yeah. There you go. Exactly. Hello, DerbyCon. As you can tell, I was in attendance for the dual core show last night. And I am not trying to use my creeper stalky voice. This is just how I sound right now. I apologize for that. I'm trying somewhere to put my Diet Pepsi where I'm not like advertising, because those suckers still haven't sponsored me yet, I'm not bitter. Your Diet Pepsi is right now. Sorry, it's cold, it's hot, warm. So how are we doing? Iron Geek. What's up? They're gonna come over here and impress me real quick?
I'll press you real quick.
Okay, I'd appreciate that. Woo! Iron Geek. So let's start this off since we're going to run late anyway, and I've already advised you, so hopefully the goons won't be too violent for me. This is my legal disclaimer. I am not a lawyer. I have played one on the internet before, but I am really not a lawyer. So I do most of my legal disclaimers through Google image searches. And basically, this is quite simply, during my talk, I'm going to talk about some really bad things that I've done, some really horrible things that I've committed. And through the whole time, you have to realize that it's like I was under contract. The people paid me to do that. And so remember the kittens. I'm adorable, okay? I will never try to steal from you, kill you, or financially destroy you unless you pay me first. So it's all good. So when I tell you some of these things, and there's a couple of stops in here where you're really like, wow, Jason, that's pretty scummy. Oh, the kittens. It's this. So you've been warned. This is my talk title, and this is also the moment where I get to find out where the cursor is. So it's like, is it over there? Can you see cursor? There we go. Look at that. Tim Pearson was nice enough to hook me up with the fancy logo, which is the fanciest part about this whole talk right there. Boom. It's like, that's the title, Breaking in Bad. I'm the one who doesn't knock. Basically what this talk is about, it's like I've given several social engineering talks, and I've done some really weird, crazy, what the, are you serious things during my career of doing social engineering. I have the luxury of not having that as my primary mode of means of income. So I can actually say, when someone comes like, hey, Jason, can you break into this truck factory in Des Moines, Iowa? And I'm like, nah, I'm busy right now. Sorry, I can't do that one. It's like, hey, Jason, can you break into this star hotel in the south of France? Yeah, I'm available for that. Yeah, I can do that. It's like, hey, can you break into this, we got this little car insurance company in Dubuque, Texas. Can you, my calendar is looking booked right now. It's like, well, there's this bank in Beirut, Lebanon. I'm available. Yeah, I can do it. So it's led to some really weird things that have occurred. So one of the biggest problems when you hear someone talking about exploits and development of like 0 days and things, that they can show you the demos and stuff on that, right? They can show you things, actually tangible things that you can see. Social engineering, you don't usually get to get on part of that. So what this talk I wanted to do was actually at least a couple of times provide you actual pictures and video of me doing a social engineering engagement. So you actually get to see some of the things that like, no, he did. Oh, wait, yes, he did. So that's what that's about. It's me. I don't really need to do a bio. You can find that out on Google, unfortunately, more stuff than I care to admit. This is the big part, though. I want to start off with the whole APT thing. It's like, everybody drink. It's like advanced persistent threat is basically what companies tell their shareholders when they get popped by a phishing exploit and stuff, when they don't want to lose any money or stock. It was an advanced and it was persistent, and we felt very threatened. It was horrible. It was like, well, how did they get in? Oh, we had SQL injection for the last 5 years on our website. Oh, nice, good going, right? So screw that. It's like, stop talking about advanced persistent threats when you're getting popped, and stop talking about low-hanging fruit. I hate hearing people talk about, well, they're just going to go after the low-hanging fruit. Screw that. There's fruit on the ground, people, okay? It's like these guys aren't going after the fruit. They're not reaching that high. They're bending over and just picking up their back might be hurting from all the fruit they have to pick up from the ground, okay? But it's like, why don't you pick that stuff up first, okay? And then you can start worrying about the low-hanging fruit, okay? Because some people are like have bad backs and you got to be considerate of them, okay? At least make them reach for it. So that's one of the things that gets me. So I say, I don't do a company. When I go into a company, I don't go and do all this advanced stuff like, well, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go through this and I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do a pretext. I'm going to create this identity. No. It's like, they say, what are you going to do? I'm going to walk in, smile a lot and see if I can get away with stuff. Really? So yeah, and it works. And that way they don't have any excuses. They can't say, oh, well, this was this guy doing all this really far advanced social engineering techniques. It's like, oh crap, he seriously just did that and he got away with it. So I do basic adorable destruction. I just walk in and try to be bad. That's it. Nothing more fancier, nothing that I do the least a pot of work. I like to say that I'm trying to be less advanced. It's like, it's a code word for I'm lazy and just don't like to do that much preparation and I'm not organized very well. I don't adult very well. It's a problem. So I just walk in and usually be bad. Here are some indicators for a person being bad. Recon mode is only about 2 hours of Google and Victim's own website, though I've never used the full 2 hours. The longest I've ever used was 1 hour and 45 minutes, and that's actually one of the stories in this. Number 2, SC mode is usually walking into the victim's location and winging it. Note, sometimes without doing number 1, literally, seriously. That's one of the first stories. And then 3, ponage mode is basically plugging in the device to the victim's computer or network, sometimes with their help. Do I really need their help when I'm doing it? No, but it's funnier that way, and that's the way I do it. I mean, literally, that is the only reason why I do that. Step 4. It's supposed to be there. 5, profit, because the check clears and I'm happy. It's like, hopefully they learn something so they're happy so everybody profits from it. Some, not as happily as others. So these are the 3 best approaches that I use when I do my break-ins. First I do is the passive role. I go in as a tech or repair guy, delivery, job applicant, customer, or just wanderer. And that's a passive mode because I'm asking you for help. I'm asking, hey, can you help me do this? Or I'm with IT, I'm trying to do this. Can you help me get this in? And it works out really well because people want to be helpful. It's like, but I do have to warn you though, it's like when you're going in as these kind of roles, especially like the tech repair, make sure you know how to do what you do, okay? Because never go in as a plumber unless you know how to plumb, okay? Because you never know when someone goes like, oh, I'm here, where the plumber's like, oh, great, we need that drain snake. I'm like, I'm glad, go get your stuff, we're ready. Like, oh, because I've actually had problems with that. Not as a plumber, thank goodness. I've never gone in as a plumber. I'm not that, scary. Number 2, auditor, executive policy. That's the aggressive role. That's where I'm feeling more authoritative. I'm trying to project more. I'm trying to you have to do something for me. And usually that works out well because they're usually making me wear a tie. And if you let me wear a tie, then I'm going to make you pay for it. Okay. Seriously. Okay. I have nothing against the snappy dress guys and stuff, I just don't like wearing ties and suits and stuff, I'm not part of the man. So it's like, when you make me wear a tie, it's like, you definitely understand. It's like, you shouldn't have made me wear a tie. And it's like, and it betrays to the thing because instead of just going like, hey, can you help me here? I'm trying to get something. It's more like, I need access to the server room now. Well, if you understood that this was a surprise inspection, you'd understand why you don't know that I need the room key. Now, give it to me now or I'll put you on the report. I don't have all day. Thank you. And there you go. So, okay. 3 is crazy off the wall personalities. Not recommended, but totally fun, and they usually work. I literally broke into a Star Palace hotel in the south of France, barefoot, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pajama bottoms, and a hacker t-shirt. It was awesome. I had full access to their underground facility, the computer rooms, the HR area, it's like the employee sections, the food preparation services, everything. And the whole time I was walking through, I'd see the security cameras, filming, and I didn't have my camera to document it, so I needed documentation. So I just walked by the cameras going like this. It's like they really got pissed about that, but it was hilarious. And then I go up to and I needed to get out. I needed to leave and stuff, instead of going the way I came because, that would be, boring. I went up to the room service guy, and I just went up to him and I was like, I'm not supposed to be here. I shouldn't be here. How do I get out of here? This is not here. I need and so you know what he did? He put me in the employee elevator that took me up to the first floor behind the registration and the front desk into their offices, their business offices. So by myself, he just put me in the elevator like, good luck. There you go. Au revoir. And it's like, and so I get in there and I'm in the business office and I freaking see like, oh, there's an unlocked workstation. Oh, there's the hotel keys. It was a 5-star hotel. They provided everything. It was awesome. So that actually worked. So those are fun. So we're going to do, so what I decided to do is I picked 3 financial institutions in 3 different countries using 3 different roles. So to go through each one of the roles from 3 different countries to show you just exactly how screwed we are. Because you would think with the financial place, that's where the money's at. So, that would like, hey, let's do some security so people don't take the money, right? The first one is the passive role. This is what's called fondly the Beirut bank job. Hacker Strip thought it was so hilarious they actually turned it into a comic strip, which was cool. Basically what this was we were trying to show them how a on-site physical compromise could relate to a actual digital theft, like doing a wire transfer or stealing money over the wire. How could you do that? How could you actually do it? Well, we decided that to do online theft, you would need a user ID, a password, a smart card, a computer, and their internal network access, right? To get that. So they decide to randomly drive me. They chose the bank branches. I've never been there before. It's like, and they drove me to 3 different bank branches to see what I could do and what kind of damage I could do. Let's see how that worked out for them. This is the first branch. If you look at the timestamp in the upper right-hand corner, and then you look at the bottom, you realize from walking into this branch in Beirut, Lebanon, from the very first time, before getting into the branch, to having full access of everything and installing malware, 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Not only 2 minutes and 22 seconds before having full access, please note the fact that I'm wearing a black leather DEF CON jacket and red Thundercat tennis shoes during this engagement. I come with warning labels. So, and when I say that I had full access, I literally had full access to the whole facility. Then one of the customers, he was actually depositing $200,000 in cash at the time. That's his money on the back. So what I did was I just walked in like I knew where I was going. It's like, which is not always the best thing to do because sometimes you run into dead ends and that's always awkward. But that's sort of my thing, so I usually handle it. So I walk straight in down the hallway and I see the manager's office and I stop because the manager had someone in there. And I wait 30 seconds right outside his office. After 30 seconds, I walk to the executive's office and I see the executive say, excuse me, I'm with headquarters with IT. He's like, we're trying to work on your USB rights to make sure the domain admin and stuff, is not giving undue USB rights and stuff, to make sure the TCP/IP stack is not reflowing through IPv6 versus IP4 lockup and stuff, on the domain controller. So it's like the flux capacitors also need refueling with dilithium crystals. I don't know. It's like, if you ramble just enough, it's good, right? So she's like, sounds legit. It's like, so she gets up out of her computer. She lets me plug in the device. It's like, I said, don't mind the rubber ducky on it. Just, let me plug it in. And I do it. The command prompt comes up. I take an actual physical camera out, take a picture of her screen with the command prompt, showing that I actually have access. And I'm like, thanks very much. It's like, cool. And cause she thought I was talking to the bank manager. Now everybody in the teller area saw me talk to the manager, saw me interact with the executive. So I go to the other lady and I'm like, that's by the teller. And I'm like, hey, I'm here with the headquarters, just with IT. We're trying to look on the flux capacitors blah, 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 insert whatever tech jargon you want. And they're like, cool, sounds legit. It's like, and they let me over there. And I actually make that gentleman get out of his chair to install the USB drive, the rubber ducky, onto his computer. And it's like, and trust me, I was not afraid of any of those employees. That customer sort of scared me, okay? But so I'll go through there. And I went and then the manager comes out about 10 minutes later. I was there for over 20 minutes. It's like the bank manager comes out about 10 minutes later. He sees me doing all this stuff behind the teller line and stuff, on the desk. I mean, I was actually twirling, there's video of me twirling in the chair and stuff, it was amazing. I have bad ADD, I can't help it. And so he goes there and he's like, what's going on? I said, well, I'm with headquarters, we're looking on the machines. He's like, oh, we've got a problem with one of our computers, come take a look. Not a plumber. So I can do desktop. So I go over and I start looking at his computer and stuff, and I'm like, dude, you know what? This doesn't look like it's going to work out well. We'll get you a new one from headquarters. His eyes lit up like it was Christmas. And he's like, we got a problem with the scanner. Can you come take a look at it? And I'm like, sure. I go over there. I do like, oh yeah, look at, you know what? We can get you a new one from the headquarters and stuff. This one is broken. He's like, I got these problems with these two monitors. Can you come check it over here? And I'm like, dude, you know what? Don't tell anybody, okay, just between you and me. I'm actually over here and stuff, because we're doing a whole refurb of all the branches throughout Lebanon and stuff, and you're pretty cool, dude. It's like, I like you and stuff, I'm going to put you on the top of the list. Expect within a week or two, they're going to give you all new computers, all new monitors and scanners. They're refurbing the whole office. And he's like, and I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. So it's like, let me just go do that and stuff, and it's like, I had the only place I couldn't get into was the vault, and I tried so hard, okay? I was like, dude, let me have access. It's like, let me go into the vault, make sure there's no network connectors. No, it's just a straight vault, there's nothing there. Are you sure? Can I look just a little bit? I just want to look. I just want to see it. And he said, never let me in. I was sad about that. I was sadder about it afterwards, because what I do on these engagements, I don't do red teaming. I don't do the customary red team where I go in, bam, write a report and then done. It's like, I do security awareness engagements. Okay. I do social engineering. It's like awareness. It's like, I go in, I go, and then I leave. And I wait 2 minutes outside of the facility after I've compromised it. And after that 2 minutes, I walk back in and I talk to all the people that I compromised and explain to them why I was a bad person. That way, instead of 3 months later when they get a memo that something bad happened generically 3 months before, they actually get that actual teachable moment right there and understand that's why it's bad. They learn something from that. And hopefully they learn it and they keep it and they are better protected because of it. So after this engagement, let's just say this one was so bad, I waited till the bank branch totally closed. It wasn't because I was afraid of that guy, just a little bit. We waited till the branch was closed, and then everybody came together. And one of the executives was, because I don't speak French or Arabic, okay? It's like, I don't blend well. It's like, there was an executive there that spoke in Arabic just so everybody would understand fully exactly how bad this was. And so I'm going around talking to him what I did and why it was bad and stuff, And then the bank manager halfway through, raises his hand, he's like, and I'm like, yes, this is, kindergarten, but what? How can I? And he's like, the computers, we're still getting the computers, right? I felt so sad.
I'm not going to ice you, but I'm going to do a regular Pepsi.
Oh,
I'm going to drink a regular Pepsi.
That's harsh. That is harsh. Oh, you had to shake it up too. Thank you for that. And we got to see Jayson throw up on stage. It was awesome. So he gives me that look and stuff, I was like, oh, it's like, we're not gonna, and I had to go and explain to him, like, no, I was lying. I'm a horrible person. I mean, I felt like I was kicking a puppy dog. It was bad. Okay. I felt really bad for it. So it was a really bad situation, but they learned something from it. Because they needed to learn something from it, because I was there for over 20 minutes, stealing all their documentation from behind the teller line. Also, the guy in the snappy sweater vest was nice enough to give me his user ID, gave me his employee ID, his password, and his smart card, because they had two-factor authentication with this. They had these Sun Oracle boxes, so that you needed the smart card and the password and user ID. It's like, that's really secure. Well, until you have someone ask nicely, I guess. So I did that. So what do I have now? I have 3 out of 5 things right out of the first branch, right? I have a smart card, user ID, and a password. What else do I need? A computer and network access. So let's go to the next branch. Once again, never been there before. Walked in. I felt so guilty about saying all those lies and hurting that guy's feelings that I didn't bother to say one word to anybody at this branch. I literally walked in like I knew where I was going, ended up to the break room. So I got into the break room. It's like, which was good because I was a little thirsty because, poning people's thirsty work. Took a little bit of drink of water. I wait because you don't just automatically start going because people associate that you're there and that you're just going in. You go in, you wait, you mill around and stuff, because then you're coming from a different direction. You're more authenticated. You're more authorized. So I literally go from the break room straight behind the teller line while the guy is conducting business right beside me, and I unplug the computer and take it with me. Not one word was said during that. It pays to be adorable, I guess, right? So now we've got user ID, password, smart card, and a computer. How hard was it to get network access? Go to the third branch, like, hey, I'm here with IT support, blah, 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 just let me in the network, okay? And then like, there they go. So I was able to relatively pretty easily show, just because you think you protect your computers and your network, you don't have to worry about the physical aspects of security. Yeah, you do, just a little bit. So the next part is the authoritative role. And I was actually tasked, subcontracted out of a great company to do a pen test on the state treasury somewhere in the United States. I can't say which one because they're still really freaking pissed at me already. And they wanted me to go in because the network side of the team, the actual team, it's like I'd actually totally destroyed them. I mean, just like made them say mommy and everything. It was really sad. And but they were like, well, you'd have to be inside to get a lot of this data, or you had to be inside to get all this stuff. And they're like, okay, Jason, you want to come in and try to break in inside internally? So sure, sounds like fun because that's interesting. It's like it may be in the United States, but a state treasury, yeah, let's go do that. So I go to the headquarters and I check the headquarters out. Wow, you would think that those people dealt with money there, okay? Because it was like freaking nice tinted windows around the building. It was like secured. There was a lobby with like, you had to go through this one door that was locked, and there was a lady there, and then there was another locked door, and you couldn't just walk in. I did find a vulnerability though in it. It's like there was in the basement where there was a lunch area. There was a storage area and there was a dumbwaiter that wasn't sealed. So you could actually climb through the dumbwaiter and get to the first floor and get access into their internal area. But after further inspection of the dumbwaiter, I found spiders, so therefore it was impenetrable. Because once again, we had to talk about scope, and flamethrowers were out of scope. So they won that round. Okay, they won that round. Okay, but they also had a office in another office building 50 miles away. Less likelihood of spiders. So let's go check that out, right? So I go over there and I check it out, and it's beautiful because they don't think logically. They think in a logistical. They think physical. Oh, this building is separated from our headquarters. And I'm like, no, you've got a direct T1 line going directly. I could be sitting in this office and right next to your treasurer at the same time. It's from the logistical standpoint. I'm on the same network. You've got it directly tied into your internal network. This is not an external office. This is part of your headquarters. But they didn't see that at first. So I told him, well, I can go in and do this. And this is where scope comes in, okay? Because pen testers realize this, and pen testers are going to feel this one, right? Because when you go to a client, you let them know, it's like, this is how attackers attack you. This is their scope. They've got all this to attack you with. And the client goes, yes, attack us like an attacker would. Okay, awesome. But we can only do it Monday through Friday and stuff, because of staffing. It's like, okay, but attack us like an attacker would. I'm like, okay. It's like, oh wait, but you gotta do it before midnight because that's when we start running our processes. I'm like, okay, but attack us like an attacker would. You got it. I'll do that. But not our production servers because, they're a little fragile because we've been patching them. So it's like, no, wait, you know what? Hey, there's this IP address that we got for a developer. Go out, attack us like an attacker would. And you're like, sure, that's a real world simulation right there. You're going to see exactly the hell and fury that an attacker will unleash upon this one IP address on this development server Tuesday at 4. You got it. There you go. Well, the state treasury was a little bit more narrow in their scope, shall we say. They made it where I could only go in after 5:30 at this branch. I couldn't use my favorite lock-picking tools, cardboard or a crowbar, to get in. I'm not really good with lock picks, but I'm awesome with cardboard, and crowbars are pretty self-explanatory. But these are the rules of engagements. I could talk to no one coming in or out of the building because they may not be a state treasury employee. Sure, that's legit. 2, I could only stay in the public areas if I did get in. 3, I could only talk to the cleaners, but I was not allowed to lie to them because they weren't direct employees. And of course, it ended with, but attack us like an attacker would, right? So let's see how that worked out for them. There's my nose cam, there we go. Here we start off with me getting out. And I go to the side door first. And I try the door, it's locked. I'm really getting pissed about the no crowbar amendment to this contract. But the good part is, I get to walk to the front door, which is the longest part of this ponage, and I get to wash that filthy taste out of my mouth. My stomach is so roiling right now, man. You guys up front are really going to regret this possibly, so my apologies. It's like a Gallagher show, so you never know. Should I brought the bags? Should I not brought the bags? So I get up to the front door. Crap, I'm still not there yet. Like I said, that was the longest part of this whole freaking talk. I'm on a wristwatch video recorder when I was doing this. That's why it looks like you need Dramamine. I tried to open the door. It's locked. I take out my hacking tool, 101, a phone, and I stand in front of the place like I'm on the phone doing important things as I played Angry Birds. I waited 10 seconds. It took 10 seconds. And accomplished. That's all it took. I actually compromised a whole office building that had secured floors on every floor through their elevator lobby. It's like by just standing in front of the phone, standing in front of the door, and looking like I was on the call. And this was really bad because on that one and stuff, it wasn't my phone. It was out of the country. It was not my phone. So there were no Angry Birds or video games or tweets or things that I could do. I just had to fake it. And then I'd walk in or walk out behind the person or after the person opened the door to get in. I did every floor. It's like they were like, at one point they're like, oh, I broke in here. They're like, well, go to the accounting floor because they know the money's important. They know that that's probably off. So try to see if you're going to, I'm in. All right. Okay, well, go to the IT floor because the IT security staff's there. They're going to know something's up. I'm in. Okay, go to HR because HR knows about the policies. I'm in. It's like, okay, go to the legal team because the legal's got, we got a legal. Hello, guess what? It's like, and then finally I just said, it's like, would you like me to go to the CEO's office? I can go to the CEO's office. Would you like me to, no, we're good. You're good. Okay, thank you. So thank you. So this is the worst part. This is one of the worst things I've had to deal with in an engagement. I got into the building. I was there for 2 hours in that lobby area. Y'all are totally underestimating my ADD right now, okay? I said I was there for 2 hours in that lobby. There is only so many Angry Birds you can flip, so many freaking tweets you can tweet, and so many statuses you can like in 2 hours before you start to lose it, okay? It was rough. My battery was like at 2% by the time this engagement was over. We were getting into critical area territory here, okay? It was bad. So I'm there for 2 hours, just like hating my life and having to drink fountain water, which, was not helping my disposition at all. But then I finally heard music to my ears, a vacuum cleaner. It's like, which is a really, weird segue. But, I heard the vacuum cleaner, and that was really good. Even though it was on the second floor, I said, screw it. It was close enough. It's like, and I went up and talked to the cleaning lady. Now remember, I wasn't able to lie. So I got to do this quick because I can't pause because I don't know where the mouse is. So we'll show that I didn't lie.
Hello. I'm trying to get back in the suite. Could you let me in real quick?
I was trying to get back in. I just got back there the day before I was there.
No, okay. Me no.
Could you let me in? I can't get in. It's like
They wouldn't let me have a crowbar.
I didn't have my badge.
I just got back from the bathroom. Don't judge me. And I didn't have my employee badge that I have. I didn't say it was theirs.
Thanks. I just gotta do one thing real quick.
Destroy their network.
It's working too late.
I was on the clock. I wasn't doing this for free, people, and I think that laugh is endearing. Don't judge me. This is the fun part because we're taking so long.
Yeah, I don't have the key to get in.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, yep.
I have it.
Oh, okay, thanks.
And here's the long wait while she goes to get the key for me. So what I do is I call the person. It's like, where's the mousy thing? Trying to jump. It's mousy, screw it. So what I was trying to do was, at that point, I called up the guy that's in the car from the Treasury who was waiting for me to fail and wondering why it was taking so long for him to fail, to let him know, hey, guess what? They're getting the key. And he was like, mother, what? And I'm like, yeah. And so even if I wasn't talking to him, I would act like I was talking to him. It's like you always act like you're on the phone when someone's trying to do something for you and you're talking to someone with authority. Because when the person comes back, they're like, oh, no, they got it. They're going to help me out with this. See, they got the key over, and then that gives them the assurance that, oh, he was going to get in anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I did not lie once. Well, okay, I'm sorry. Okay. I lied once. At that very end, I said, see you later, and I never saw her again. Okay. But that was it. I stayed within scope. If you want an actual threat of what an attacker looks like, stop trying to put the scope so narrow. Because if I could get in with that kind of scope, imagine if a guy's got a little bit less morals, a little bit, more incentive. Because, you think about these things and you see these things and it's like, you're like, well, Jason's like, that's horrible stuff that you're doing. It's like, well, I'm a bad guy. If a guy is willing to get a gun to rob you of $100, it's like, and you're dealing with a state treasury that's got millions and billions, there's incentive, right, to do bad things. So you shouldn't narrow the scope that low. This next one is really, this is one of those ones like, are you really buying this? It's like, I'm really getting away with this one. I don't have shoes on. It's like, or it's like I'm saying I'm doing this, and like, I mean, there's been times where it's like I've encountered people in the engagement, and they're giving me that look, and I'm good at reading faces. And I'm like, you're not believing this. You're not buying this either. Why are you still letting me in? We both don't believe this. I just came up with it 5 minutes ago. It's like, but it works. It's like, I mean, I literally broke into a bank in the United States, and I went with a fake name I didn't even have an ID for, because I have some great fake IDs thanks to Skydog, but it's like, it wasn't even one of those. I didn't have any valid ID for the name that I gave out, Lieutenant Colonel Jack O'Neill, it's my default. And it's like, and then with a company that didn't exist, and with a phone number that Lord knows where it went to, I knew the area code was correct. I don't know what the rest. I mean, I literally was going to do 555 first, just to be funny, but I actually put in other random numbers, and I was loud through the bank, walking through the teller line. It's like going through, getting the bank manager to get out of their chair so I could plug in a phone plug and stuff, not because I needed to, but because it was funny. Okay, it's like, and it was all done with fake IDs. With just bald faces going to but I signed the register and I did what a normal person was, and I'm adorable. So this is one of these engagements. This one I did, and this is really cool because I don't have video for this one or pictures, which is sort of sad. But the guy who was actually on this engagement and stuff, that hired me to go down there is actually here, so he can call me out on BS. And I refer to this engagement as the Jayson and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad social engineering engagement. This one I feel one of the worst for. I was in Kingston, Jamaica doing this engagement. It's like we go in, it's like we do the first day, we're pretty successful, and they want us to see if we can go into the headquarters on the last day. And I'm like, sure, let's try it, stuff, So we look at the thing, and they've got it fortified, it's really secured. It's a part of town where I don't want to like get caught, going over the roof or anything. So I spent an hour and 45 minutes Googling for this guy. And so, I mean, this is deep recon research for me, people. An hour and 45 minutes, we already mentioned ADD. But I found something. They had a charity organization. They had the same email domain. They were on the same network. They were in scope. So guess who I'm going after? No, Jason, you didn't. Yes, I targeted the charity organization. So we had one of the guys call up and stuff, it's like, hey, we got this TV producer and stuff, that's coming in. Can you have some time for him? And then the lady talks, it's like, and I go and answer, like, yeah, I'm here. I just had dinner with blah, 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 and we're trying to, and I heard about your organization. You're awesome. I got to catch a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow, so I got to see you today. Can you make time for me today? And they're like, sure. It's like 2:00, and I'm like, okay, cancel my 1:30. So I got to do this and stuff, So it's like I go and we go there. I get there 15 minutes early, and I go to the headquarters. It's like I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I sign in, and they're like, this is the wrong building. It's across the street, and I'm like, oh, really? Well, can I got to go to the restroom. Can I go to the restroom? It's amazing how many times I have to go to the restroom on these engagements. It's not because of all the Diet Pepsi I drink. It's just I get lost so many times. I was in a research facility for over 2 hours trying to find the bathroom, and I never did. Found the security server room and stuff, but I never found the bathroom. It eluded me. It's like, it's funny how those things work out. So I go and I go, say, yeah, well, they said, sure. And there's a security guy there. It's like, and he opens up the door for me, walks me back there. I mean, I literally thought he was going to go into the stall with me, okay? This guy wasn't playing around. So I get into the bathroom, and I'm like, well, crap, this is one of the few times I don't have to go. So I just have to stand there like, what's the appropriate time of urination here at this point? Let's see, okay? And then I finish, and then I finish, and then I got to go to the sink and wash my hands because I don't want them to think I'm unhygienic, even though nothing happened. And then I walk out, and as soon as I walk out, I'm about to go this way to where the employee area is, and there's that security guard right there. He didn't do that. But by God, that face was saying it, okay? It was implied, okay, with the stare. They paid him extra to look that mean, okay? So I was like, oh, okay, I'm going this way. So I go over there, and I go and talk to the lady. She's a wonderful lady. It's like, and the problem with this whole thing is, the pretext is, I'm a visiting TV producer trying to show corporations doing public good in the community, and I heard about how awesome they were. And so she talks to me. She's a wonderful lady. And I'm like, hey, is there any executives or anybody I can talk to from the corporation? The corporation's like, oh, the chairman of the board's here and stuff, as well. Hey, can I see him? So she takes me up there and we start having a conversation. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the show. This is what it's about. Hey, you know what? I could tell you, I could go on and ramble for hours. Y'all realize that already. It's like, but you know what? I'm just going to show you this video that I have of one of the previous TV shows that I've made. Let me plug this USB drive in. Forget about the rubber ducky on it. Let me plug it in and I'll show you one of the videos. So I plug it into his laptop. And all of a sudden, these weird messages start popping up I've never seen before. I literally think that someone else's malware was fighting with my malware, and they were like, going on. It's like, this is my machine. No, it's my machine. I was here first. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to do this real quick. No, too late. It's mine. And it's like, so it's really bad. And he goes and he says, it's always popping up. He says, well, let me call the desktop support. I'm like, no, that's okay. I'll just email you the video and stuff. Be no problem. He really wanted to see this video, people. Okay. So he calls the desktop support people, and they're not part of the scope. And I'm like, oh crap, they're not scope. It's like, I can't do that. No, let me. And he hands the USB drive to the guy. Okay. That's very, very specific that you need to remember that, because it's not my fault. Okay. He did it. Okay. But I have to think quick and go and say, hey, I need to see where he plugs that in, because there's other folders and other videos on there that have NDA that he can't go see. I got to show him which video to look at. It's a teensy device. There's no videos, but there is a lot of trouble. So I got to see which computer got infected. So I follow him to his workbench, and I see that he's running Ubuntu Linux. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. I coded this thing for Windows, so it's like, you're totally good. So he plugs it in, and I make the wonderful discovery that Ubuntu is awesome, because it ran. It's like command prompted everything, and I was like, oh, that's strange. Here, let me take it. This is not working. It's like, and I take it out. And here comes the worst part of it. Literally the worst part of it. I have to go back. I've successfully compromised these people. More than I expected. And it's like, and I have to go back, and for the next 15 minutes, I have to talk to some wonderful, genuinely caring, humanitarian people and stuff, and explain to them how I was going to put them on television. This lady gave me one of her books. She's like literally the freaking Mother Teresa of Jamaica. These are wonderful, caring people. And I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to be on TV. Halfway through, I was believing it, okay? I was going like this. I was like, okay, this is what I see. It's like, we're going to have one lady working at her cubicle and stuff on a computer. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a pan and fade and then a blur. What that means is we're going to pan back out, and we're going to pan over the rest of the call center of all the computers, and you're going to see all these people working, doing their jobs. Then it's going to get to the glass of the building, and it's going to do a transition fade. And that transition fade is going to go to the streets of Jamaica. And there they are on the streets of Jamaica, and there's this hungry girl. And that same girl that was working on the computer is now feeding her. And you're going to be able to see how your work that you do in your corporation actually literally translates to helping people out in your community. It's going to be, I actually think that'd be actually a good show if anybody's interested. But it's like, I was really getting into it. So it was over. I was able to make my way out. I get out to the outside the building. Typical scenario, wait 2 minutes. So I go back in, wait 2 minutes, still standing out there. And it's like, and then about 3 more minutes pass. About 5, the guy who was driving me, one of my teammates and stuff, was driving, comes over to me. He's like, aren't you going back inside? And I'm like, I can't tell those people what I just did. I'm a horrible man. And I literally had to call the guy that's in the audience right now and say, yeah, you're going to have to tell them I did bad things. I can't tell them that. I'm not going to do it. I don't adult very well. This is not going to be cool. Bye-bye. It's like, I felt really bad about it. And I tell you, it's like after I do a successful compromise, I usually reward myself with ice cream. I still had ice cream, but it tasted bitter. Just for the record, it did taste a little bitter. I did feel really bad about the ice cream. It's like I have witnesses and stuff. I was commenting. This tastes sort of like tears. I'm sorry. I feel bad. So basically, the summary is we want to believe. If I give you an inconvenient lie, it is better than the convenient, bold-faced truth that's facing you. You would rather believe that a TV producer is coming through and going to put you on television than a bad guy just came in and compromised my network to steal money. Because we don't want to think of the bad things, do we? I'm about to go fly on the plane, and I'm like, yeah, about to go on the plane. It's like I should get an upgrade if I'm lucky and die by, over Boston. It should be fine. It's okay. What's going to happen? It just happens. It's one of those things, right? That's not pleasant. That's sort of sad. Everybody just went, that was a bummer, Jason. Thanks. We're having so good time until you said that. And you said all those horrible things you did. It's like, but we don't want to think those things. And we humans are all like that. So you have to start teaching your users that even though it sounds too good to be true, it's probably, true. This guy really is a bad guy coming in to get you. It's like listen to what your little voice says in the back of your head. It's usually right. How do we need to do that? I call this my dessert and vegetables talk because, as you can tell, that was the dessert. Here comes the vegetables. Because we need to do better in information security. We're failing our users. Users aren't failing us. So yes, this is the time where people start walking out because screw you, Jason. I was here for the stories. So one of the first things we got to do is we got to educate. We got to learn to educate our users. And one of the best scenarios of education is we teach people that this is bad, right? We teach tellers at banks that these are bad, except for those guys because those are adorable. It's like we teach that those guys are okay, but we don't tell them to be worried about these guys. And these guys are totally sketchy. Especially that guy in the upper left. Sorry, Darren, but come on. It's like, look at that jacket. He's up to no good. So it's like we don't teach them about that. We need to start teaching our employees the common dangers they face, not at work, but at home. We need to make them security conscious by default, not by policy. What does that mean? Quite simply is, and this is going to come to a shock to a lot of business leaders, employees don't care about your data. I know, let that sink in for a second. They don't. They're never going to care about your data. They're still getting pwned at home and stuff, from Craigslist ads and eBay scams. They're still getting Nigerian princes going, yeah, that looks legit. Yeah, let me click on that. I need millions and stuff. Uncle Bob was sort of the same name. It's fine. It's like, it's like they still don't know where their children are communicating and who they're communicating with on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or Kik or whatever, blah, 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 whatever site and stuff that's out there. They don't know them. So start teaching your employees how to secure their stuff at home. Teach them how to secure their Wi-Fi and change their Wi-Fi access point name, how to change the passphrase on their Wi-Fi. Show them how to do the privacy settings for Facebook and Instagram and Kik and Snapchat and all those other things. Show them how to monitor their children's online behavior. Show them how to be wary of different scams. And guess what's going to happen, people? They're still not going to care about your data. But they're going to be security conscious. They're going to be going to work, doing the stuff, and they're going to go, oh, wait, that's suspicious. I'm not going to fall for that at home. I'm not going to fall for it here either. I better report someone. You also have to create teachable events year-round, not an annual exercise in futility. That doesn't mean bringing in a pen tester or a red team or me to come in every year to do this. You can do that on your own. You got to create teachable moments, something that shows that makes an impact to them to know that there's security out there and there's something going on. One of the ways that I do it is when I go to conferences, I use this. It's a great educator and motivator. It's like I will spin up the pineapple, see what I can grab. I don't have internet connectivity to it. It's like I don't try to intercept anybody's traffic. It just, if you go to any website, it comes up with a white page that says, this was not the Wi-Fi access point you were looking for. Oops, my bad, winky face. We should tell you this. The funny one is that last one at the very bottom was the one that I did at a U.S. Chamber of Commerce event in Washington, D.C. And you should really check to see who's talking at the conference that you're talking at, because I did this right before the conference started, and I was like all like, rocking, look at all that. Look at all those names. That's awesome. And then I hear the announcer go, so after the first announcer came on, I'm like still looking at my results going, this is so awesome. Oh my gosh, I got so many. This is great. And then the second speaker comes on and the introduction is like, and here we have Mike Morrell, ex-assistant deputy director of the CIA. And I'm looking like, oh crap. Oh crap. It's like, and I'm looking at him, it's like, please don't have his phone. Please don't take his phone. It's like, it made the talk a little bit more awkward. And I don't do that at every conference, and it's not because I'm afraid of I hunt pineapples, because I know he's definitely not going to be here. So I do other things as well to be educational. How many conversations did I have with people today? What kind of things do we discuss? And how much was it recorded, since I don't wear glasses? 8 gig high def video recorder glasses with a USB drive attached. It's like, so that's a teachable moment for here. And I'm so glad I get to take these glasses off, because they sort of hurt a little bit. But that's a teachable moment. Not all your data is stolen via computer. Not all your data is stolen from your work area. It's like, it's things like that can also steal your data. It's like, what conversations do you have here at the bar? What kind of things that you talk about? I promise you, within a 30-minute conversation that we have at the bar, I will have everything I know. If I don't have your direct password, I can have everything I know for a password reset. It's like, and I can do that totally disjointed, not having to be in order, not having to be totally random, because I don't have to remember it. It's being recorded. So what else do we need to do? We need to start empowering our employees. That's one of the biggest problems. It's like, you think employees are a problem. They're not a problem. They're part of your solution. They're the biggest IDS system that you have. It's like, train them and work with them on that. It's like, you've got to give them the empowerment to do it. It's like, one of the biggest things I can say in your corporation, in your enterprise, do you have an extension that an employee can call if they see someone suspicious or they see a suspicious email? Do they have an extension that they know they can call to report it? If they don't, why not? That's not a blinky box solution. That's not something that requires maintenance fees. That's an extension that you can get put into your PBX or stuff, to give them a lifeline out there to reach out to be effective. I was in Amman, Jordan, breaking into a bank. The bank manager is telling me right there, don't plug that USB drive into their computer. And the whole time I'm going, you're right. I shouldn't plug it. Hold on a second. Yeah, I shouldn't plug this in. You should call someone. Do you have a number to call somebody? And they're like, but you shouldn't. No, I know. Hold on. Boom. Yeah. You should really tell someone that I'm here. There should be a number. I mean, I know I'm supposed to be here, but you don't know I'm supposed to be here, so maybe I shouldn't be here. Hold on. Yeah, but you should call somebody, because, this looks serious. I don't think I look sketchy. This is a cool jacket, but, you should, right there. Yeah, 5 times. 5 times I plugged it in. The only reason why I got stopped and she got really adamant was because I was trying to go behind the teller line and plug it into the computer, and there's a stack of money on the computer. And I was trying to tell her, look, I'm not worried about the money. I just want that computer. It's like money I can care less about. So that's how you need to do it. You need to make them be more effective and give them a way to do that. Another thing was, we need to do enforcement. Not just negative enforcement. We gotta give them positive enforcement, and we just gotta give them a way to show that you're out there and you mean business. And one of the best things for that is visibility is sometimes all that's necessary for enforcement. Let them see that information security exists. When a virus outbreak or something goes by, or suspicious email, go to the person's desk and see it. I play first-person shooters. Anybody plays first-person shooters? Call of Duty, Modern Warfare's coming out soon and stuff. The Black Ops 3 is like already pre-ordered. And I am not one of those guys who goes and says, okay, we need a sniper on the rear flank and stuff. I need my clan to come over here on the route with the heavy weapons fire and stuff. And then I'm going to go over to sweep and stuff. With my semi stuff. I'm not that guy. I'm this guy. Pew pew, America! Pew pew, America! I'm just running and gunning and stuff, screaming, Leroy Jenkins. And it's like, my team hates me. It's like, I usually get at least 5 kills to the 20 deaths to even it out a little bit. But guess what happens? Because I get shot and I respawn. And then what happens? Pew pew, America, this is awesome. Now imagine putting electrodes on me. And every time I get shot, I get 1,000 volt jolt. How would my gameplay change? Pew, 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 America, pew, pew, pew over there. It would change radically, right? because there are real world consequences to my online action. That's what information security's got to start doing. Show the physical ramifications by manifesting in the real life. Like, oh my gosh, they do exist. I didn't even say security 3 times fast or anything. So, it's like you got to show them that. So to sum it up, because I'm actually less than an hour, so, JDuck was longer, so yay me. To sum it up, it's real quick. I hated this show. I hated this series. I got sucked into watching because everybody was referencing it and stuff, referring to it. So I had, I watched it. Halfway through, it's like, I can't wait for this guy to die. Spoiler alert. It was a bad show. This was a bad guy doing bad things. Why do we like watching bad guys do bad things and getting away with it? It's like, we're good guys. They should suffer. They should not be so happy. So when you're doing your job, try to make these guys a little bit less happy about what they're doing. That's what we should be doing. It's like we shouldn't be rooting for them. We should be rooting for them to fail. So work on that. And here's the time where we read the slide. Uh-oh. Yes.
First of all, has anybody reacted sort of violently or negatively when you had that discussion?
Negatively, I've had people that have been a little upset. Actually, I was told by the person in Jamaica that it was a good thing I didn't go back and talk to that guy because he was less than thrilled with my, and he wanted to actually show his displeasure in a more physical way of expression. So I'm glad I didn't go back in after all. But what's the next? That's the only one. Usually it's like people see it as helping. Some have come in and I've done some I've seen where they've actually felt a little bit worse. It's like others where they've actually improved really good and it was a good thing. What? He asked, it's like if anybody was like violently or extremely negatively reacted to my question, to my responses and my results and stuff. And then the other one was, I actually answered it. If I ever came back and I've retested, it's like some I've seen that have done better and others that are not as good. Thank you guys. Thank you for putting up with that.